Hello folks. Alright, so we are making a portable power pack for running, well, in this case, ubiquity radio equipment. Stuff like these, nanostation or microtik stuff or whatever. The whole purpose of this thing is that you can keep it in your pocket, go to a customer's place and do an install. So we've got a few items that we need here. We've got our air gateway, we've got our battery pack, which I scavenged from a Sony camera. We've got a little switchy thingy here, and let's see, I've got this battery management circuit, some nickel wire for welding, and my homebrew arc welder, or spot welder right here for welding the batteries, and some other random shit. So first things first, let's get our pieces together. Alright, so here we go. I just I dismantled everything earlier so that I didn't actually have to do it on video, because God knows that's one of the most irritating things ever, is when you gotta sit there and watch somebody dismantle their shit. So here's a little air gateway. They plug into the power pack for the ubiquity radios and that. So we're gonna take that apart and throw that shit in the garbage. So there we go. There's our little, this is a router with a POE port and a data pass-through port. Alright, so we've got that put aside. Okay, next thing that we need to prep, battery. Here's a battery. And where's the spudger? I can't, there's my spudger. Okay, so these guys here, they come apart relatively easily. So we'll just remove these lithium-ion cells without getting fucking blown up, and throw away the housing. Alright, and seeing as we probably don't need any of this shit, let's cut all the wires off of it and put this battery management circuit in the spare parts bin. There we go. Alright, so we've got the battery pack now. Alright, what else do we need? Yeah, that's pretty much enough to get started. We also have, we're going to be using a lot of epoxy. So I have some epoxy right here. Alright, so first things first, let's prep up this battery pack, because the battery pack's the most important part. So this has been all assembled pretty nicely by Sony for their Sony Handycams and whatnot. So, I'm going to try to do this without blowing my shit up. Alright, there we go. So we've got most of the terminals exposed on here. So now what we want to do is we want to remove them. Oops. There we go. There we go, we've almost got all the terminals off. I really do need to invest in a wide-angle lens for my camera. It's just, they're like 90 bucks, and if anybody knows me personally, I'm poor. Alright, so there we've just separated the two cells. So now the next thing is fuck it, we'll just leave them glued for now. There we go. Alright, let's see. Label's coming off, which means that the batteries are now no longer isolated from each other. So let's get some more of this shit off of here without blowing the batteries up. You know what? Fuck it. Shit happens. This is one of the reasons why sometimes it's just better to buy batteries off the internet. There we go. Fuck it. Alright, so there's our lithium cells. These ones aren't nearly as fucked up, but hey, join the party, right? We'll just, let's play dangerous. There we go. Alright, so we've got our batteries exposed now. One thing which usually is better to do with the stuff on them, the heat shrink, is to get rid of the little bits of spot welding muck. But watch this. That will burn. So we can't really do that now, can we? Now we need some wire to weld the batteries together. Alright, we're going to pause for a second. So, we're just going to cut some of that off. There we go. Cut, cut, cut. Yeah, that should be enough for now. Put this steel aside. But we have a big problem here, is that these guys are exposed now, which means that I need to cover them in tape. So I'm going to do that next with shipping tape. I don't have any Kapton tape handy, but Kapton tape would be the most intelligent choice. This is just a video teaching you guys how to make stuff out of random shit. I have taken these batteries and I have replaced the coating on them. Now if you notice, I overlapped plastic on the top and the bottom, and that's because this little ring right here, if that touches that center pole right there, they go boom. Alright, so let's assemble another battery pack. Phew! Excuse me. Because I don't have heat shrink, I'm just using shipping tape. Shipping tape works fine. Alright, so here we go. If you notice, I am putting them positive, negative, positive. Alright, let's put this around here. Ba-bam! We've got a cell. There we go, and notice that they're not catching fire. That's a good thing. Alright, so now the next step is we need to put these two together. So we need some more tape. There we go. We now have our 12-volt battery pack. But there's more. To make this a functional 12-volt battery pack, we need to spot weld some connections onto it. So just as a safety precaution, because I was stupid enough to take the plastic off of it, we are going to some Kapton tape over these rims, like so. There we go. Boop. Kind of like a bikini. Now it goes up in your ass crack. kind of thing, you know? Alright, let's do the same thing on this side. Alright, another one on this side. There we go. Alright, so these guys are ready to weld. So, first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to join these cells together. Should probably test this first. Nope, they're not arcing. Cool. Alright, so let's spot weld these. Use my trusty spot welder here. Well, I fucked up that one. Let's try another one. Wasn't nearly enough current. One side. There's the other side. There's one joint. Two, and let's go for our third, see if we can set the same luck. There's that one there. Alright, so that's one side. Let's do the other side now. Go. One. Two. Three. There we go. So that's our parallel sets. So now we need to do the series part. Oops. That didn't work too well. Looks like I need a new piece. Alright, no big deal. We have lots of this stuff. A little piece like this. One, and another one. So we're going to go across here, and now we're going to go across here. Make sure I don't blow myself up again. Here we go. We've got our 12-volt cell. I don't quite trust that weld. Let's make a little tap here. A little extra piece here I can put onto it. There we go. Alright, so these guys are all welded together now. Cool. So now we need to add our wires. So, first things first, we need our positive. So I'm just going to stick that right on the center of here. Sorry about my lighting configuration, but I've reorganized my desk a little bit, and things have changed. So I still haven't quite got it the way I want it. For doing videos, that is. Alright, so let's see here. There's our positive. Now we need our negative. There we go. We got our positive and negative now. Now we need our balancing leads, which is pretty simple. I'm using purple as my positive balancing lead, which we shall put over here because it's safer to solder on.
He said something about, I don't know what exactly was going on. He said he was going to go do a bunch of shit. I think he said something about selling his PC for like 400 and then the video card for 5.
I think he said something roughly about walking away with like $900 or some shit like that. Plus whatever he's gonna throw on it. So like that's good. I don't know. Whatever he does is good. I just hope he doesn't just get some shit. I hope he doesn't walk in and be like, yo, this, and it doesn't work. I really hope it just goes to the point, like, I hope he just gets the shit that works, and at least works out for him. I wouldn't do what he's doing, but he's also kind of forced to with the motherboard, so. If he knows what he's doing, I don't think he did. I don't think he knows how to do that.
There we go. Okay, so now we've got our balancing leads and everything on here.
I know for sure he'll do.
It's starting to look like a fucking explosive device. I know. Nobody can stress that enough. I know. It looks like a fucking explosive device, but whatever. Okay, so now I'm gonna epoxy this just to make sure that everything stays nice and kosher. Here we go. It's epoxy time, mother. It's epoxy time. so let's just goop this shit on here. This is going to help protect the terminals from getting shorted out. Now you got to keep in mind that there's vents on top of these lithium cells, so you have to make sure that they don't get plugged up. There we go. So that should be good. On the sides here, I can just grind that off after either way, but there. So now all that is protected. I'm just gonna hit this with the heat gun.
So gross. I go bite into it and it just tastes like gross, spicy ass food.
There we go. That'll take all the bubbles out and make it a nice, even finish. Not that it really matters, it's a freaking battery pack, but whatever. Alright, so that's still carrying. Oh yeah, we're going to take a quick break. It's take less time than that. So let's do something else which needs to be done. Let us prep the router. Because we've got a little tiny router that has to go in here. This is an air gateway. So first things first. On our little air gateway here, we need to take it apart. There are 2 screws here. You really gotta push to get them out. Okay, so there's 1 screw. There's 2 screws. Put those aside. Put this aside. Now we can pull it apart. And this is the part that we want to remove. Ooh. And we're going to want to stick a couple of wires on there. So I've got some wires right here. Not that I skin cats. Yeah! Burning hot. Let's do it like this. That'll help. Alright, got it in a vise. There we go. Not the prettiest method, but whatever. As long as it works. I mean, whatever. Alright, let's cool this guy off. Okay, it's usable. Okay, so now that we've got that off, I have to get all the plastic off the circuit board. Okay, so that's clear. So now, the next step is we need to hook up some electricity to here. I think all the parts are still there. Yep, nothing desoldered, so here we go. So the first thing we need to do then is we need to expose the pad. Trace here for 4 and 5, which is positive. Alright. And then we need to expose some negative. Alright, so now let's put some solder on here. Here we go, we got some solder on the positive and some solder on the negative. So now let us put our leads on here. Yes. Alright, so where's, I need, here we go, fine black and fine orange. Now, this is also where the switch comes in. So we're putting a switch on here too. And I found the best place to mount the switch is actually at the back of the circuit board. So, what's this? Start a positive on here. Oh, actually, sorry. Duh. Switch is going there, so watch this. I'm going to put this on backwards. Okay, so there's our positive. Now we need our negative. Trim that back just a tiny bit. Boop. Same thing, put it back facing this way. Okay, now I'm just going to take a second to actually clean up these pads just a little bit, because it is kind of nasty looking. So I'm going to need my brush, one of them, and a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. And I'm just going to Here we go. Okay, so now, let's do a quick test. I'm going to reassemble this little bugger. Reassemble this little bugger. Reassemble this little bugger. There we go. And let's see if we can get some power out of it before I actually put the switch on and put it together. So we can just confirm that everything's happy with my soldering job. So this will run around 12 volts, so I'm putting my bench power supply at 12 volts. And we have ignition. Let's see if it boots up. Yeah, it's booting. Cool. Alright, so that's that part. So now we need to add a little switch, which we are going to mount back here. Because that works awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut this orange wire a little bit short. Stripper. Stripper. Stripper, good. Do-do-do-do-do. You could stripper. Stripper, good.
Assuming everybody has like a playing card.
So I'm just going to put a little bit of heat shrink on here. And we are going to solder
in the head.
that lead on there.
So just a little bit of gore, like if I had actually shot her in her head just like splits open, or there's like a dark hole over the other side of the one. That's all I need. I have like finishers for the executions and shit. You can make new characters that are based around stuff, like ripping some dude's head off and throwing it
Slip
at
the
another
heat
player.
shrink over it.
then manipulate or.
There we go. That's that part. I'm gonna now do the same thing with this orange lead. We're going to solder this onto the switch.
Well, no, they're garbage. I understand that.
Alright, switch still works. Good. Alright, so now we need another little piece of heat shrink. Hit it with heat gun. Alright, so now we've got our router slash POE slash basically it's doing everything. So let's put this thing back together. Grab our screws here. What do I do with my screwdriver? Has anybody seen it? Oh, there it is. Okay. So we just put these little tiny screws back in here, minding that giant capacitor there. Okay, cool. So now let's stick the switch in there. And I'm going to glue it in place with a little bit of crazy glue. I love this LePage Ultra Gel. It works awesome. So we're just going to put some on the bottom. I'm going to put some on the bottom. Now we're going to put some on the top. And push it in. There we go. Just going to wipe a little bit of this excess off. There we go. So now we have our switching slash POE module slash router. Okay, so that's that. So we can put that aside. So now this guy is going to be good. We've got the epoxy on here. I'm going to epoxy this one too as soon as it's done. But in the meantime, let us put some foam on here.
He's got a double attack in his back or whatever. So you get. Oh, I have to.
Just before the epoxy loses its tackiness, because that's actually going to give us a pretty good stick now. Now, as far as the housing for this goes, it's not made yet, but there will be one made shortly. So now we need to add the BMS, battery management circuit. So I'm just going to measure this. Let's see about there. Yeah, there we go. Let us sticky this on here somewhere. That's a tough decision. I think I'm going to put it right here. Okay, so now let's fasten the wires. So there's a certain order that these wires are supposed to go on. Let's see here. B plus is for battery positive, of course. I'm just gonna get, whoops, just gonna get that prepped. There we go. It's positive. And then B2 goes to the
the best play of the game.
bottom of the positive
Oh,
junction at the bottom thingy. Each one of these battery management circuits actually hook up differently, so the results may vary depending on the ones that you choose. These ones I got on eBay for like nothing.
no, but I'm gonna back it. I gotta create this.
There we go. That's the balancing lead for the bottom junction for positive. And then now we've got the battery minus.
No, it does do like a damage thing, but I'm still at 200 volts. Shows me that I got hit, but it doesn't actually do damage.
There, that's better.
That's if you're around though. That's the left.
If you don't push it down hard enough, it doesn't stick. It's my own stupid fault. And now I can read here that negative terminal. Negative wire, I should say. Wherever I put it. It ran away from me. God, I'm unorganized.
Like that, like grenade launcher stuff, and also rocket jumping. It's pretty much has rocket jumping with that line. I've never been good with those in any game, especially in Quake. It's nice, but I don't know. I always suck at it.
There we go.
This is my life now. I just come here and dance every time.
And one more wire. Let's see if I can do it before my battery dies. Okay, and that's the last battery management lead. It goes right over here. Again, your board will vary. This is how mine wires.
Sad thing is I did it on the left. And I was
After this, we will return after a quick battery charge of my camcorder because I don't have a AC adapter for the damn thing.
Or whatever. So if you can get an error while running this shit. Just out of nowhere, it was like surprising.
There we go. That's the BMS part done. Voila. When we return, we shall finish hooking up the leads for the charging
Alright,
port
so
and the here's the
router.
BMS board. Here's my welded up battery. Okay, so now one thing you need to do before you actually use the BMS is you need to activate it. So I'm setting my bench power supply for 12.6 volts, and I'm just going to, there we go. Now, if I take my meter, and I hook it up to here now, and you'll see I've got 12.5 volts. Now comes the next step. Let's take this guy here and peel off that two-way tape that we put on earlier. And let's fasten our router. Alright, router attached. Actually, you know, I just realized in hindsight, which is 50-50, that would be better. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so now we've got our wires hanging off. Oh fuck, what do we do? So here's our positive. And here's our negative.
Oh, okay. Well, then do it. It's a chance. Yeah, well, you're on something on an appointment. That's going on. How long?
Okay, and then we're going to add one of these barrel connectors for charging. Doesn't have to be that long, so.
And if you work, how's that going to affect it? Will they cancel, like, suspend it for the time being until you're done?
And we want to find out which wire is which.
Like I know, that was always like random with them. I don't like them, so I don't know. You have money in years to put in there though, so you should be like, according to it. So.
Okay, so let's make sure that the ring on this barrel connector is our negative. So the negative will be the unmarked wire. And there we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so seeing as we know which one's positive, we're gonna wrap positives together. And then we are going to wrap the negatives together. Now we are going to, I'm going to put a little bit of flux on these guys. And I'm going to put a little bit of solder on them.
That's not hard. I don't know if it's different over the years, but I wouldn't got one I would go with the White House. It's pretty simple. It's
You know, what I'm going to do here,
yeah, it's just in the top part of the police station.
take a little bit of black,
Oh, we're
and
in the White House community.
we're going to put some heat shrink over these.
It's the one down by the new firewall when they do fireworks. No, I kind of not that lighthouse. There's actually a building called the Lighthouse Community. And it's not like the lighthouse. It's
Just going to squish this a little
it's
bit.
just down the street from me, like down by the pig here. You know that park? Yeah, it's there on the right. It's really ghetto. It wasn't
Squish.
fun. I didn't like working there. It's in fact for
Squish.
I didn't care. But you're cooking for the homeless and they need food, so it depends how they fix it out. Maybe they're all fucked up.
I'm just going to cut this in
There's
half
one
because it's
lady-
being a
we're
real
all
bugger.
fucked up. Some people were like really bad positions. I didn't feel bad. There's some really fucked up people. Just come and do drugs and like live and sleep at the fucking door.
Okay.
Like in like I was gonna say they're not allowed to like sleep inside the building either. They're like sleep outside. It's fucking.
There we go. Alright, got that heat shrink on there. Set it with a little bit of heat.
Last week every weekend we should say.
That's going to hold the wires together when we go to solder them onto the pads here, which is the next step. Let's light her up. Okay. I'm going to trim these leads just a little tiny bit. My little nippies. And we want to go negative first. Good practice. And then positive.
It's all good. Yeah, I'll be home.
And there we go. Now I just noticed something here. There is a little pin sticking up.
Yeah.
I want to get rid of that. Make sure that there's nothing sticking up that can make contact with the batteries.
I love you too. I love you too. Bye.
There we go. And we can now stick that back on.
Alright, I'm back.
Alright, so there we go. We've got our barrel connector, battery management circuit, focus, POE plug, Ethernet plug for data, and our Wi-Fi router right here. And if I turn on the switch, you can watch it boot. And there we go. I'm going to put my head in the way so you can watch it boot up.
Then you can hit the crowd's back for massive.
There we go. And let's grab a CPE.
Did that game ever come out? Did it? I have no idea what it was called.
Give me a second to find a patch cord.
You could find a fucking like whole big thing that E3 was like you could find a giant crab. Like that was one of their bosses. It was like, look at this giant crab, and everyone in the crowd just like,
Here we go. Patch cord. Let's put this guy up here. And there you go. Got a 4 amp hour battery pack with built-in router that will work very well with easy UBNT for configuring one of these radios and doing a point when you're working by yourself. So one last step I'm going to do, just because we don't have the housings built for these guys yet, is I'm going to tape the living shit out of it. So first things first, I think the power, yeah, we're going to put the barrel connector right there. So I'm just going to cut a little piece of tape to hold that in place. Now I'm going to put a piece over top of here. And then we're going to put some tape around here.
Oh, wow. That looked right off the gate. She was aiming for Soldier, she was aiming for Josh, and then she
Here we go.
shoots me in the face.
It may look like an improvised explosive device, but it's not. This is a self-contained POE for programming radios and pointing them by yourself. And there's our handy little charger. Here. I can plug this bad boy in over here. And give it 12.6 volts. And it is charging. That's all there is to it. Cool, eh? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. The app that I use when I'm working with this device. Where is it? Easy UBNT. This awesome little app is $7.99, and it'll, once you've got it, you can actually connect to your radio through this little Wi-Fi router, this air gateway, and point your equipment and do your alignment and everything, just all by yourself. There you go. Thanks, guys.